Imagine this. You wake up one morning and realize that everything holding you back, the doubts, the excuses, the waiting, is nothing more than a decision you've yet to make. What if, instead of hesitating, you chose to carry yourself like the best version of who you could be? Not in arrogance, but with quiet confidence. Not by pretending, but by stepping fully into your potential. What would change in your life? How might the world respond to this shift? This is not just idle speculation. It's a truth deeply rooted in Stoicism, a philosophy that challenges us to focus on what we can control and take responsibility for our growth. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a towering figure in Stoic philosophy, asked himself daily to act with virtue and purpose, regardless of his external circumstances. His teachings remind us that being the best is not about being flawless. It's about choosing to strive for excellence, one decision at a time. But here's the paradox. Sometimes the hardest thing is simply believing that you are worthy of that pursuit. We wait, thinking we're not ready, that the moment isn't right. Yet the Stoics teach us otherwise. They urge us to act now, in this very moment, as if we already possess everything we need to succeed. They remind us that greatness begins with our mindset. In this video, we'll explore 7 transformative ideas that can help you step into your full potential. Stay with me until the end, because the last idea might be the one that changes everything for you. Together, we'll uncover how to act as if you are the best, not in comparison to others, but as a commitment to your own growth and excellence. 1. The foundation. What it means to act as if you are the best. What does it mean to act as if you are the best? Does it mean walking into a room and proclaiming your superiority? Does it mean pretending to be someone you're not? Far from it. In the Stoic sense, acting as if you are the best is about embodying your potential, not through boastfulness, but through discipline, humility, and intention. It's about holding yourself to a standard that reflects who you could become if you fully committed to your growth. Think about this. When you look in the mirror, do you see someone capable of greatness? Or do you focus on your shortcomings? If you find yourself dwelling on what you lack, consider this. The best athletes, leaders, and thinkers didn't begin as masters of their craft. They began with the decision to strive. Acting as if you are the best isn't about being the best today. It's about aligning your actions with the person you want to become. The Stoics teach us that excellence begins with our mindset. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If you carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who is already on the path to mastery, your actions will begin to reflect that belief. This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect. Arrogance looks outward for validation, while confidence looks inward, rooted in knowing you are working toward your highest potential. What if, starting today, you chose to show up in every aspect of your life as if you were the best? How would that change the way you approach your work, your relationships, your challenges? This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. The Stoics understood that striving for excellence is a daily practice, not a final destination. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to act with virtue, not for glory or praise, but because it was the right thing to do. Could you adopt the same mindset in your own life? Imagine yourself as a master craftsman or a world-class athlete, not in the sense of fame or skill, but in the sense of dedication and discipline. These individuals don't wake up every day doubting their abilities. They wake up ready to practice, to improve, to align their actions with their aspirations. What if you approached your life with the same clarity and focus? Would you hesitate, or would you begin? This foundation, acting as if you are the best, isn't about changing who you are. It's about uncovering who you've always been capable of becoming. It's about setting a standard for yourself and living up to it, not for external validation, but because you owe it to yourself to try. But this mindset is only the beginning. To truly act as if you are the best, you must also confront your weaknesses. In the next section, we'll explore how facing what holds you back can become your greatest strength. 2. Facing weaknesses with courage. To act as if you are the best doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or pretending they don't exist. In fact, it requires the opposite, the courage to face your weaknesses head-on. True greatness, the Stoics would argue, is built not on denial, but on honest reflection and relentless effort to improve. Can you see your shortcomings not as barriers, but as stepping stones toward growth? Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled the Roman Empire, constantly reminded himself to remain grounded, to observe his weaknesses, and to confront them without shame. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Have you ever truly embraced this power? When you look at your struggles, do you see them as opportunities to strengthen your character, or do you let them define you? Think about a time when you failed at something important. Did you brush it aside, blaming circumstances or bad luck? Or did you look inward and ask, what can I learn from this? How can I become stronger because of it? The Stoics teach us that failure is not the end. It's the beginning of a new chance to grow. Your weaknesses are not signs of defeat. They are guides pointing you toward the work that must be done. When you ignore your weaknesses, they don't disappear. They fester, holding you back in ways you may not even notice. But when you confront them, when you have the humility to admit where you fall short and the courage to take action, you begin to transform. This is what it means to act as if you are the best. It's not about pretending to be perfect. It's about committing to progress. Let's pause for a moment. When was the last time you truly evaluated your own actions and choices? Have you been avoiding the areas of your life that need the most attention? Now is the time to act. The Stoics believed that life's challenges, even the internal ones, are meant to sharpen us. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." What difficulty in your life could you embrace today, knowing it will ultimately make you stronger? This process requires humility. It's not easy to admit that we aren't perfect, but in doing so, we unlock the ability to grow. The best version of you isn't someone who has no flaws. It's someone who is unafraid to confront them. When you adopt this mindset, you begin to see every weakness as a chance to practice courage, discipline, and resilience. These are the very qualities that define greatness. So, what about you? Will you continue to avoid the parts of yourself that need work, or will you face them with the determination of someone committed to growth? The Stoics remind us that life is fleeting. There's no better time than now to begin the work of becoming your best self. Before we move forward, let's reflect together. What's one area in your life where you could begin this process? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. I'd love to hear about the challenges you're ready to confront. And if you're finding value in this exploration of Stoicism and self-improvement, take a moment to like this video. Your support helps spread these timeless teachings to others who might need them. In the next section, we'll take these reflections even deeper by exploring how to transform challenges into opportunities. Stay with me, because this is where your mindset begins to shift in extraordinary ways. 3. Turning challenges into opportunities. What if every obstacle you faced wasn't a barrier, but a stepping stone? Could you see the difficulties in your life as the training ground for your greatness? This is a cornerstone of Stoicism. The idea that the challenges we encounter are not meant to stop us, but to shape us into something stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action, What stands in the way becomes the way. Think about that for a moment. What if the very thing you perceive as blocking your path is, in fact, the path itself? This reframing is not just philosophical, it's practical. It changes how you approach every problem in your life. Consider the last time you faced a significant challenge. Did you hesitate, feel overwhelmed, or wonder why this difficulty had to happen to you? This reaction is natural, but Stoicism invites us to take a different perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" For the Stoics, adversity was never an excuse to give up. Epictetus, born a slave, rose to become one of history's most respected philosophers. He taught that life's hardships are opportunities to practice virtue, patience, courage, discipline. These qualities don't emerge when life is easy. They are forged in the fires of difficulty. So, what are the challenges in your life trying to teach you right now? Imagine you're climbing a steep mountain. Each step is exhausting. Your muscles ache, the air is thin, and it feels as though the summit is unreachable. Yet with every step, you grow stronger. You adapt to the struggle, finding reserves of strength you didn't know you had. By the time you reach the top, you are not the same person who started the climb. This is what challenges do for us. They transform us, but only if we are willing to see them as opportunities rather than obstacles. Ask yourself, how do you typically react when faced with difficulty? Do you complain, avoid the problem, or blame external circumstances? The Stoics remind us that our reactions are entirely within our control. No matter how challenging the situation, we have the power to choose how we respond. What would happen if, instead of resisting the challenge, you embraced it? Let's take a moment to reflect. Think of an obstacle you're currently facing. It might be in your career, your relationships, or your personal goals. Now, ask yourself, if this challenge were meant to teach me something, what would it be? How can I use this experience to grow? This shift in perspective does not make the challenge easier, but it makes it meaningful. And when we find meaning in our struggles, we unlock a source of strength that propels us forward. Marcus Aurelius, ruling an empire during times of war and plague, could have easily succumbed to despair. Instead, he used every hardship as a chance to practice virtue. His meditations remind us that greatness isn't achieved in spite of challenges, it is achieved because of them. What challenge in your life could you reframe today? Picture yourself not as a victim of circumstance, but as a participant in your own growth. With every step forward, no matter how difficult, you are building the foundation for a stronger, wiser version of yourself. This idea of embracing challenges leads us to the next step in acting as if you are the best: consistency. To truly transform your life, you must not only face your obstacles, but also show up every day with intention and purpose. Let's explore this practice in the next section. 4. Daily practice of excellence. How do you spend your days? This is not a trivial question. It is, in fact, one of the most important questions you could ask yourself. The Stoics believed that excellence is not a grand achievement that arrives all at once, but the sum of small, deliberate actions taken consistently over time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Do you begin your days with this sense of purpose? Or do you let the hours slip by, consumed by distractions and hesitation? To act as if you are the best means committing to a daily practice of excellence. It means waking up each morning with the intention to be better than you were yesterday, not for recognition, but because it aligns with your values and aspirations. But this practice isn't about perfection. The Stoics knew that human life is imperfect, filled with mistakes and setbacks. What matters is how you respond to those imperfections. Do you let them derail you, or do you recommit to your path? Let's consider this in practical terms. How do you approach your work, your relationships, your health? If you were to act as if you were the best in each of these areas, how would your actions change? A world-class athlete doesn't wake up and hope to feel motivated. They follow a regimen, knowing that discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. In the same way, the Stoics teach us to structure our lives around deliberate habits that move us closer to our potential. Ask yourself, what habits currently define your days? Are they aligned with the person you want to become, or are they distractions that pull you away from your goals? The Stoics remind us that every action, no matter how small, contributes to the shaping of our character. Seneca said, "Excellence is not an act, but a habit." This means that what you do repeatedly becomes who you are. So what are you practicing each day? It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that grand gestures are needed to create change. But the Stoics would argue otherwise. True transformation happens in the ordinary moments. The decision to wake up early and start your day with purpose, the choice to speak kindly when anger tempts you, the effort to give your best even in mundane tasks. Each of these moments is an opportunity to practice excellence. Let's pause and reflect. What small intentional actions could you take today to move closer to your highest potential? It could be as simple as setting aside time for reflection, reaching out to someone you care about, or dedicating focused effort to a challenging project. The key is consistency. One great day does not make a virtuous life, but a series of deliberate, meaningful days can. This daily practice is not without challenges. There will be days when you falter, when distractions pull you away, or circumstances seem overwhelming. But the Stoics teach us to return to the path, no matter how many times we stray. Epictetus reminded his students, "Progress is not achieved by luck or accident, but by working on yourself daily." Can you commit to this work, even when it feels difficult? As you think about your own life, consider how you can structure your days to reflect your highest values. What routines can you establish to ensure that your actions align with your goals? This is not about perfection, but progress, a daily recommitment to the person you are striving to become. The beauty of this practice is that it builds momentum. Each small act of discipline reinforces the next, creating a cycle of growth and improvement. And over time, these small actions accumulate, transforming not only your days, but your life. From this foundation of daily practice, we can turn our attention outward. How does striving for excellence not only shape you, but also inspire and elevate those around you? In the next section, we'll explore the ripple effect of living with purpose and clarity. 5. The ripple effect, inspiring others. What happens when you strive for excellence, not out of competition, but as an act of self-respect and discipline? The Stoics teach us that our actions do not exist in isolation. Every choice you make, every way you carry yourself, creates ripples that extend beyond your own life. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the interconnectedness of humanity, a concept the Stoics called sympathia. Have you ever considered how your commitment to growth might inspire others to do the same? Think about it. When you're around someone who lives with purpose, discipline, and confidence, doesn't it challenge you to raise your own standards? Their presence alone encourages you to believe that more is possible. Now imagine what happens when you embody those qualities. You have the power to set an example, not through words, but through the way you live your life. Ask yourself, how do you show up in your relationships, your workplace, or your community? Do your actions reflect the kind of person you want to be, and do they inspire others to do the same? The Stoics believed that striving for virtue was not just a personal endeavor, but a way to contribute to the greater good. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, you create a positive influence on those around you. This ripple effect is powerful because it's unspoken. People notice when you carry yourself with confidence and integrity. They see the quiet discipline behind your actions, the humility with which you approach your growth. And this, in turn, gives them permission to strive for their own potential. How might your actions today inspire someone else to take a step toward their goals? Consider your role in the lives of those you care about. Are you the kind of partner, friend, or leader who lifts others up through your example? The best way to inspire is not to preach, but to live your values consistently. This is a lesson the Stoics embodied fully. Marcus Aurelius, despite being one of the most powerful men in history, reminded himself to stay grounded, to act with humility, and to use his influence to benefit others. What if you could approach your own life with the same sense of responsibility? This ripple effect doesn't just impact others, it strengthens you as well. When you realize that your actions inspire those around you, it reinforces your own commitment to excellence. You're no longer just working for yourself, you're contributing to something greater. Isn't that a reason to keep striving, even on the days when it feels difficult? Now, I want to hear from you. Think of someone who has inspired you through their actions. What did they do that made such an impact on you? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. I'd love to know how others have shaped your journey. And if this idea resonates with you, consider sharing this video with someone who might need a little inspiration today. Sometimes the smallest spark can ignite a transformation in someone else's life. Finally, if you're finding value in these reflections on Stoicism, take a moment to like this video. Your engagement helps us reach more people who can benefit from these timeless teachings. Let's continue to explore how acting as if you're the best is not just a personal mindset, but a way to elevate everyone around you. In the next section, we'll delve deeper into the role of confidence in this journey. Confidence not as arrogance, but as a steady, disciplined belief in your ability to grow. Let's uncover how this quiet strength can transform your approach to life. 6. Confidence through discipline and growth. What is confidence? Is it the loud, boastful energy of someone trying to prove their worth? Or is it something quieter, more grounded, a belief in yourself that emerges not from words but from actions? For the Stoics, confidence was never about arrogance. It was about aligning your actions with your values, putting in the work, and trusting the process of growth. Epictetus taught his students that confidence comes from preparation. He reminded them that no matter how unpredictable life may seem, the discipline of consistent effort builds a foundation of inner strength. Have you ever felt this type of confidence, the kind that comes from knowing you've done the work? It's a quiet assurance, a belief in your ability to handle whatever challenges come your way. Think about a skill or area of your life where you've truly committed yourself. Perhaps it's a project you poured your heart into, or a relationship where you gave your best. When you reflect on those moments, don't you feel a sense of pride? Not because it was easy, but because you earned it? This is the confidence the Stoics valued, the result of discipline, effort, and growth. But what happens when you don't feel confident? When doubts creep in, or you feel unprepared? The Stoics would remind you that action precedes confidence. You don't wait to feel ready. You begin, and through the act of trying, you build the belief that you are capable. How often do we delay progress because we're waiting to feel confident? Could it be that the feeling comes only after we take the first step? Marcus Aurelius, despite being a Roman emperor, never assumed he had all the answers. Instead, he approached life as a student, always learning, always growing. His confidence came not from his title, but from his commitment to virtue and discipline. What would happen if you adopted the same approach in your life? If, instead of hesitating, you trusted that your efforts would lead to growth? Ask yourself, how do you react when you're faced with uncertainty? Do you retreat, or do you step forward, trusting in your ability to adapt? Confidence doesn't mean you'll always succeed. It means you believe in your capacity to learn from failure and try again. This is the type of resilience that Stoicism cultivates, a confidence built not on perfection, but on perseverance. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you're preparing for a big presentation or a job interview. You might feel nervous, questioning whether you're truly ready. The Stoic approach would be to focus on what you can control: your preparation, your effort, your attitude. Even if the outcome isn't guaranteed, the act of showing up with discipline and clarity strengthens you for future challenges. Could you approach the next difficulty in your life with this same mindset? This quiet confidence isn't just about overcoming external challenges. It's about transforming your relationship with yourself. When you trust in your ability to grow, you stop fearing failure. You see it as a natural part of the process, a chance to refine your skills and deepen your understanding. How freeing would it be to approach life with this perspective? As you reflect on your own journey, think about where you can begin to cultivate this confidence through disciplined action. What areas of your life could benefit from consistent effort and a commitment to growth? The Stoics remind us that the greatest strength comes not from what others see, but from what we know to be true within ourselves. From this foundation of quiet confidence, let us now turn our attention to the role of failure in this journey. How can we reframe failure, not as an endpoint, but as a necessary step on the path to excellence? Let's explore this in the next section. 7. The role of failures in self-improvement. What if failure wasn't the end of your story, but the beginning of your transformation? Could you see it as a guide, pointing out where you need to grow? The Stoics believed that failure is not something to fear. It is a necessary and inevitable part of life. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Think about a time when you faced failure. Maybe it was a missed opportunity, a broken relationship, or a goal that slipped through your fingers. How did you react? Did you feel ashamed or discouraged? Or did you take a step back, reflect, and ask yourself what you could learn from the experience? Failure, the Stoics remind us, is not about losing, it's about learning. How might your life change if you embraced failure with this mindset? Epictetus taught his students that life's setbacks are opportunities to practice resilience. He said, "It is difficulties that show what men are." This doesn't mean Stoicism glorifies suffering, but it recognizes that the most valuable lessons often emerge from our struggles. When you fail, it is not a reflection of your worth. It is a chance to refine your approach, to try again with greater wisdom. Let's pause for a moment. When you think of your own failures, what emotions surface? Disappointment? Regret? These feelings are natural, but they don't have to control you. The Stoics remind us that while we can't always control the outcome, we can always control how we respond. What if, instead of seeing failure as something to avoid, you welcomed it as an essential part of your growth? Consider the story of a great innovator or leader. How many times do we hear about their successes without acknowledging the failures that paved the way? Thomas Edison, when asked about his many failed attempts to create the light bulb, famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This perspective mirrors the Stoic approach. Failure is feedback, not defeat. Think about your current challenges. Where are you holding back because you fear failure? Could it be that the only thing standing between you and progress is your willingness to try, to stumble, and to try again? The Stoics would argue that failure isn't the problem. It's how we interpret and respond to it that matters. The key to navigating failure is to focus on what you can control. You cannot guarantee success, but you can guarantee effort. You cannot avoid every setback, but you can decide to learn from them. This mindset, grounded in Stoicism, shifts your focus from external outcomes to internal growth. What if every failure was simply a step forward, guiding you closer to your goals? Let's take a practical approach. Imagine you've just failed at something important. Instead of dwelling on the outcome, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What will I do differently next time? How can this experience make me stronger? These questions transform failure from a source of pain into a tool for growth. This process is not easy. It requires humility, patience, and courage. But the rewards are immense. When you embrace failure as part of your journey, you free yourself from the fear of making mistakes. You begin to see every setback as an opportunity to practice resilience, to refine your skills, and to grow into the person you aspire to be. So, what about you? What failure could you reframe today? Instead of avoiding it, could you face it with the confidence that it is shaping you for something greater? The Stoics remind us that the path to mastery is not smooth or easy. It is marked by challenges that test our resolve and strengthen our character. From this understanding of failure, we come to the final and perhaps most powerful idea: the importance of consistency. To act as if you are the best requires more than a single moment of effort. It demands a lifelong commitment to growth, excellence, and virtue. Let us bring everything together in our concluding reflections. Excellence is not a destination. It's a journey, a practice, a daily recommitment to living in alignment with your values and striving for growth. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius reflected often on the privilege of each new day, reminding himself that life is an opportunity to improve, to contribute, and to act with purpose. To act as if you are the best isn't about pretending to be perfect or reaching some final state of achievement. It's about showing up every day with the mindset of someone who believes in their ability to grow and their responsibility to try. This mindset isn't just for moments of inspiration. It's for the mundane, the difficult, and the uncertain. It's the quiet discipline of taking one step forward, even when the path feels steep. Consider how this practice might look in your life. Each morning, you have the chance to choose how you'll approach the day. Will you act with intention, or will you drift through your hours? Each interaction is an opportunity to reflect the person you want to be. Will you respond with kindness, patience, and clarity, or will you let emotions control you? Every challenge presents a test of your resolve. Will you embrace it as a lesson, or will you shrink from its discomfort? The Stoics would urge you to start small. As Seneca wisely said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This means there is no rush, no pressure to be perfect. Excellence is built one moment at a time through small, deliberate actions that accumulate into profound change. What one action could you take today to bring yourself closer to the best version of who you are? The beauty of this journey is that it's never truly finished. Even the most virtuous, disciplined people find room to grow. Marcus Aurelius, a man who wielded immense power, never stopped questioning his own actions, reminding himself to stay humble and focused on what truly mattered. If someone of his stature could strive every day to improve, can we not do the same? As you reflect on the ideas we've explored, embracing challenges, confronting weaknesses, practicing discipline, and reframing failure, remember that the goal isn't to become flawless. The goal is progress. Each step forward strengthens you. Each moment of effort brings you closer to the person you aspire to be. This is the essence of Stoicism, living with purpose, resilience, and clarity, one action at a time. Now, let me ask you, what will you take from this reflection? How will you act differently tomorrow? Perhaps you'll start by waking up with gratitude, choosing to face your challenges with courage, or simply committing to one small habit that aligns with your values. Whatever it is, know that the journey you're embarking on is one of immense significance, not just for you, but for those around you. Before we part ways, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What resonated with you? How do you plan to act as if you're the best in your own life? Let's create a space where we can learn from one another, inspired by the timeless teachings of Stoicism. If this video has given you something to think about, consider liking and subscribing to support the channel and ensure these ideas reach others who might benefit from them. Thank you for being here, for reflecting, and for committing to your own growth. Remember, this isn't about being better than others. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Stay strong, stay grounded, and continue moving forward, one action at a time. As Marcus Aurelius might say, the privilege of this moment is yours to embrace. Make it count.